Let's come into a few deeper breaths. And let your breath go down deep and fill the lungs. Don't force it, but really accompany it. Fill and then release. Out breath. Feel how it's filling the body with this new air, new day. And letting go. And check that your body is not just collapsed or even dead weight to the ground. We have the crown suspended. There's movement. Maybe some movement in the spine a bit. Keep breathing. And we can come in just a few twists of the spine. So you turn to one side if you're cross-legged, then to the knee, like 45. And we can come down, you can exhale down and then inhale, coming to the other side along the floor. And coming up along the floor and up again, looking behind us. And you can use the two hands to kind of put yourself near the knees. And nice long breaths. We come to the other side, so spanning across the front, turning to the side, looking behind us. There's that twist in the spine, so crown to tailbone. Feel that extension, elongation, and twist. And repeat. Feel free to follow your timing. And it's okay also just, if you can't go down and twist so much, it's also just to twist from up. Just twist the spine to the back. Side to side, that's fine too. You can use the hands to help you twist a bit further, like the arms and the legs. We keep these nice long breaths. Relaxed, deep breath. Feeling the spine moving, activating. Again, it's really okay also just to turn side to side behind you. Depending on where your body is at this morning. And coming back to the center. And then we can start to lean to one side of our sitting position. And the arm comes up from the other side that we're leaning from. And you extend with that arm, so there's a stretch from the arm through the rib down to the leg. And as you come to the side, you can lean either on your hand or down to your elbow, depending on how flexible you are. And keep breathing. Maybe the elbow can come back a bit. Allow for some movement. And let's come into the other side. So here the arm can come to the ground or just the hand, and the opposite hand comes up, stretching. Over the head, fingertips extending, letting the breath fill our body, feeling that stretch, allow for movement. And coming to the other side, let's repeat the two sides. Again, slowly, mindfully, extending up, letting things extend. In breath, out breath. So the arm is over the head, fingertips extending. And coming over, repeat. And long breath, in breath. Not forcing the breath, but letting it fill and empty. And coming back. And we let the head come to one side, so the ear comes towards the shoulder. And then you release the head to that side. So you let it sink, feeling the stretch on the neck. You're not pushing the head down towards the shoulder, you're just releasing it down, letting it sink gradually, feeling the stretch in the neck, not forcing. Shoulders are sunk. So as you release also the shoulder, let it sink on the side that has been stretched. You may feel an increase of opening there, extending. You want to really absorb in the feeling in the neck, shoulder, side of the head. And we keep breathing. And then coming to the other side, so head comes up, crown suspended. And then releasing to the other side. Ear towards the shoulder, feeling that stretch, letting the shoulders sink and the head sink. You want to stay with the feeling there, sensation in the neck, ear, head, shoulder. And then we start to come forward. So we come forward to the down, where the chin comes towards the chest. So really we want to release the head, feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. Don't push it. Feel how it affects all of the back of the head. And then we start going a bit left, a bit right. Still feeling through the back of the neck, the head, the upper part of the spine. Scapula and shoulders released. So you just go a bit left, a bit right with the head, feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. Going gently. You start to increase the left and right motion. And then follow your own feeling and go wherever you need. Coming around with the head. Slow down where you feel there's a need, but stay absorbed in the sensation. And be caring of the back of the neck. If you have neck pain especially, just don't go straight on it, maybe just go close to it. Listen. When you go up, also feel the chest opening, how it stretches. Maybe you can look up, open. So you go slowly, mindfully, not on automatic, staying with the feeling, keep on releasing the shoulders. If you can, noticing where the stretch is affecting the chest, upper back also, and the head. So not just the neck. We start to find the center. Maybe it's still a bit left, right. Connect to the crown, top of the head, and down to the earth. And we find our sitting posture. And now we let the breath just be natural. Just notice how how it comes in and how it goes out so simply. So we start to bring attention into a more simpler mode. It's just listening to the breath. Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy when we've been passing many years just constantly in our chatter, pursuing story after story. And now with the phones in the morning, we often just go straight to the phone and the brain starts going and thinking starts going. So it's definitely advisable to wake up in the morning and do some practice. Even just 10 minutes of sitting in the morning, instead of going straight to tasks and messages and so on. And we inform it of a simpler way of being, listening to the in-breath and the out-breath. And we let it begin to come more into presence. It starts to notice sounds around us. Maybe there are birds chirping. Maybe there's a humming kind of background sound or noise. And sometimes there's motors or cars in the distance. Just notice what's there. We don't judge one more spiritual from the other. It's life. So we bring our body into listening. And we come to listen down to the ground, to the earth, as if hearing a sound from the earth, this vibration, this humming, whatever is there, pulsating, or just this open listening through to the earth, the ground underneath us. Almost like we're listening for the little insects and the bugs like crawling through, the worms, the life that is there, the earth itself. So our mind gets a bit more subtle, our listening, our feeling capacities, sensing downward. And we let that ground us as we're sitting stable on the earth, rested and supported by the land. So attention is going downward. And we can feel the weight on the ground a bit more in the body. All the waist area, the pelvic area, the bottom sitting, the legs touching the ground, feet. Can we stay connected to the ground as we listen into the lower part of the body? The feet, the legs, the meeting of the legs, hips, back, front of the lower part of the torso. Can you remember that listening through to the earth, feeling into it, into the depths, maybe meters down, maybe further. You could try sensing 1 meter down. And breathe there. Remember your dantian connected, middle, center, the lower torso. And after 1 meter, you could try going 3 meters down, like sinking down with feeling. Breathing there. And try going 10 meters down. And breathe in there. Into the depths. And then we release down into infinity, to unknown distance. Can you breathe there into this unknown distance, kind of into infinity, a release down. Just this open sense, we stay present with it. And if we can include the 10 meters down, the 3 meters down, the 1 meter down, the earth we're just sitting on, the surface of the land, our legs, feet, bottom of our torso, hips, lower belly. Lower belly breathing, rising a bit, sinking a bit on this earth. So we can listen as how does that inform how the body feels, in particular the lower part of the body to start with. And this increased meeting and connection with the down, with the earth. This is part of our body too. Without the earth we stand on and live on, we wouldn't exist. This interconnected being of us. I feel like if we could understand ourselves more experientially through our bodies as part of this earth, and this earth as part of us, and as part of this whole, and this whole as part of us, we wouldn't be treating the earth like this, or each other like this. So in our practices, we can rebuild this remembrance of our wholeness, of our union with the rest. Rebuild this remembrance in the body. And then let our actions change from there. And our thoughts maybe also. so that we don't need to correct the way we think necessarily, and learn new ways. Just remember. We stay sitting and sensing into the earth, into the ground, our body like part of it. In relationship, held by it, fed by it, with the food we eat, nourished by it. The air we breathe, the sun, the water. And feeling through the body, the rest of the body as well included. The torso, the arms and hands, and the neck and head. And the air comes in, becoming us, and then goes out again. Part of the whole. So we keep this mindful sense of connection. We're made mostly of liquid, of water, and the water doesn't come from a metal tube or from a plastic bottle. It comes from the land. And it cycles through to the sky and down again. It's all this interconnected whole. So if we can just hold this sense in our body. And everything we hear or encounter as we pay attention is all part of that whole. So we sit there with life. As life. So with the leaves shuffling in the trees as the wind flows through them, with the birds chirping and flying off, with the sun rising somewhere behind the clouds. With the cars running in the distance, people making breakfast, people at war. And it takes great courage to come in touch with life, the biggest courage. Shantideva is an old master from the old days. He said that the courage you need to be with your own mind and reactions and to do this work is vastly greater than the courage you need to be at war with bullets coming your way. They speak of empathy being a capacity to know what other people are feeling, more at a mental level. And then they speak of compassion. Compassion comes from the Latin root word to suffer with. So they speak of compassion as an ability or a capacity to be touched, to actually feel life, and with the other, and with the world, and as the world. And I think it was Tara Brach that was speaking about the vulnerability that comes about when you let yourself be touched by life and all that it is. And that vulnerability, how it brings this great tenderness. So there's no developing of compassion, I found, without learning how to be with life, and that involves feeling the pain of it also, the suffering that is present. And that requires courage and great softness. in the moment we meet discomfort, there is this closing down and cutting off that happens, the separation, a hardness in the heart. And but that's not how we want to live. I think we can check. So I would suggest that the practice of today could be to let life in as we go off for breakfast, for example, and we pass by another. Where am I closing off? So we start with smaller things, with simpler things. Where's my hardening in the chest or in the shoulder? Or when I pass by anything. So if we can keep that practice through breakfast, where am I closing off to life? And we go very slowly and compassionately. We don't push into anything. Yeah, we also compassionately open to the closure that is going to be met. So we don't add hardness and judgment to hardness that is already there. That just adds more hardness. I shared this once before, and there's this, sometimes when we come in with that kind of carrying attention in ourselves, when after being touched by what is seen, there can be a lot there stored from all the times that we didn't listen inside that way, and from all the pain that has been just bottled up, let's say. And so there's this term that the firefighters have. There's this, it's called, I think, the backlash, something, backdraft. It's called the backdraft. So when there's a fire in a building and you open suddenly the door, there's this backdraft that, because it's too fast, too much air coming in, and it explodes out. So what they do, they go to the back and they make small holes to the back to let in air slowly. You do that enough, then you can open the doors. So it's okay to go slowly. We let love in bit at a time. Let the air in bit at a time. So far, we've passed much of our life avoiding discomfort and clinging for something more pleasant. But there is no coming in touch with life without coming in touch with discomfort. And without coming in touch with the pain of the world. When Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, he got enlightened under the tree. As the story goes, he came with 4 truths, the noble truths. And the first one was there is suffering. It's so important. And not in a way that puts us down, but in a way that opens us out, up. I read a poem the other day, I forget by who, that said that God, and again, religious terminology, you can also replace it with life or other words that resonate for you with that. And it says, God breaks our heart over and over again until it stays open. So throughout breakfast and the day, or at least the morning, we can, whenever you feel there's a hardness, just pause, in this sacred pause, and soften, find the tenderness at the vulnerability of looking to the hardness and the pain that we carry brings. So meeting suffering usually either hardens us or softens us. So what do we choose today? Let's practice that for the last 5 minutes of sitting. You softly let life in. Pause in that sacred pause. Go slowly when needed. Be very soft. Like Tara said, when you let life touch you and the pain of things touch you, there's a vulnerability there that comes that has great tenderness. And another thing that I found is that compassion is not something that needs to be grown or developed. We already have the infinite capacity. We just tap into it. We can come to closing form or to a small bow, however you feel. I found that head to the ground can be such a beautiful and helpful practice. It's like I'm not surprised that all of these old traditions have it as their practice also. And yes, if we can carry whatever degree of that work through breakfast, where am I hardening? Where am I closing off? And maybe just soften. See, maybe let life in is the title of the practice. But also just soften and be with it, what is there. Could be another name, subtitle. It's also fine. Yeah. Come in touch, but it's more of a let life touch you. Let yourself be touched. At least that direction.